Like what am I really thinking about? What am I really focused on? And am I focused on work that I'm not focused on my family? Am I so focused on sports that I'm not focused on God's word? Well, and it's just so funny too. It's like, who's going to be the bigger cheapskate? Because the person that says, all right, yeah, I'm not doing 3, I'll do 2. It's like, okay, well, you're being cheap. And then what? So I'm going to fight for the extra $1. So now I'm not willing to get rid of something because of $1. It's just the funniest thing.
If I want a golfer, it'd be Spieth. But if any other person, I'll toss in my wife. Yeah, I need a FaceTime from the wife. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
But, an athlete, Luke. Come on.
Okay. Hey, I'm a newlywed. I'm for sure saying my wife. Come on now. But
get out of here with that.
With hands down,
who's a famous athlete that you want calling? If you're in Tony Finau's situation, who's popping up on the screen that you want?
Absolutely, the big German, Dirk Nowitzki, my sports hero. Oh, the hero of Dallas. I need him giving me a FaceTime as I enter in Sunday at Augusta.
Welcome to the Unpacking It Live podcast. I'm Bryce Johnson with Luke, Henry, and Andrew. Glad to be with you today on this Monday, the end of June. Summer is flying by. Spent 2 nice days at the pool over the weekend. Little Maddie, she might be swimming across the pool by the end of the summer. Look out. We're getting ready for the Olympics. We'll be watching the Olympics. We're getting Maddie ready now. Under 2 years old. Let's get her swimming. First step, stop drinking the chlorine water. So once we get that figured out, then we'll be able to start swimming laps. But had a great weekend. Glad to be here today. We've got so many kind of topics just across the spectrum to get to. We got the NBA playoffs going on. We got some NFL rumblings here and there to touch on. What's going on with baseball and some of the cheating that's taking place. How do we feel about that? And then even in the NBA playoffs, who are we rooting for? Can we actually root for Chris Paul? Do we want Chris Paul and the Suns to win it all? Is that possible? Because I feel like Chris Paul was always the guy we rooted against, but now it feels like he's the guy we root for. How many times has that happened in sports over the years? We'll discuss that a little bit. Also, I'm back fresh from Texas. I saw Luke. I met Luke's wife. We'll share some stories about my time in Texas and getting dinner with Luke and Madeline. Also, some NBA rumors and things going on in the NBA with Damian Lillard. Where will he end up? And then also NC State, college baseball. What do we make of this? And then what about the NCAA and now moving forward, or I guess college sports are moving away from the NCAA with the name, image, likeness, which I love. I'm so thrilled that athletes in college are finally going to get more money than what they've gotten over the years, because they are due. And I've been banging the table for this for over 15 years. And so glad that that's finally starting to really, really happen. So lots of thoughts on that as well. But make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. You can subscribe there. You can subscribe to this podcast. If you're listening live, make sure you like and share and comment. We'd love to hear from you. What are you convinced of today? We want to hear what you're convinced of. We'll hear from Henry and Luke in a moment, what they're convinced of. I'll share what I'm convinced of as well. And then also, if you haven't signed up for the Unpack This devotional, be sure to do that. Today on the show, we will talk about no excuses. And that's today's devotional, which will go out in email form later today. And you can subscribe for free on unpackingit.com. Before we jump in, let me ask you this. Do you need to get your own health insurance? Well, go to healthmarketgenius.com. Know your options, healthmarketgenius.com. Support them as they support us. Let's say good morning to Luke. Luke, it was great seeing you. How was the weekend?
It was good. A lot of driving. We have, So went to a wedding and
wedding for Luke.
Oh yeah, it's wedding season. It's summer. I'm in the young 20s. All of I don't know if I was pulling this move on the dance floor.
Oh, okay.
Tossing out the Bryce jazz fingers, seeing all the people I haven't seen.
Yep. I threw those out to my neighbors yesterday.
Yeah. So it was fun. We got back at like 1:30 in the morning on Saturday, but still made church in the morning. Actually, my mom and stepdad visited our church. They really wanted to see the church we're going to. But yeah, I had to light up the dance floor a little bit at the wedding. Didn't go too hard. Didn't want to overshadow the other people on the dance floor. So
well, yeah, let's hear about that. Let's unpack that. What is your wedding dance strategy?
Yeah.
What songs do you go in for? What songs do you go out for? Do you go in solo? Is it you and the boys dancing around? Is it you and any ladies that are out there? Or is it strictly you and Madeline and that's it?
Well, so prior to marriage, any slow dance song, I'm out of there. Yeah, I'm not in the market of, okay, let me just find someone to dance with. You know what? I'll sit at my table. I'll go grab a piece of cake. I'll watch people dance.
Piece of cake.
So slow dance songs, I'm peacing out. But as soon as another hype song comes on, it's always like the DJ has the obligatory slow dance songs. People kind of leave. You'll have the couples. And then as soon as the jams come back on, people flood the dance floor. So, I try to stay relevant in the new age dance moves, try to stay young, try to stay hip. For a while, it was easy to stay young. But now I'm 23. I'm not in I'm out of college. So it's a little stronger effort to stay young. But in the least prideful way possible, I have been applauded for my dancing ability, and I have my mother to thank for that. She has very good rhythm, good dancer, and you know what? Really, it just takes being able to stay on beat. If you can stay on beat, you can dance anywhere. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, good for you, because I'm the opposite. So I don't like to dance, and it stems from a I don't know. I don't want to use the wrong word. Tragic situation when I was in 6th grade, and I walked across the dance floor and asked a girl to dance with me, and she said no.
Oh,
and
no.
So from that point on, I hated to dance. That was like my one shot in 6th grade. I built up enough courage to walk across the dance floor. A girl that I had, been staring at in at the lunch table for
in a creepy way. You just laser focused on her.
Oh yeah. And so that's the one I want to ask to dance. And so I went across the dance floor. She said no, and I was devastated. But I still, at that point, was still, courageous enough. I went back and asked her friend, and guess what her friend said? No. That was also enough. I was 0 for 2. And from that point on, it was a very sad experience for me at dances. It was usually standing on the loser wall. And like I shared.
Loser wall. Wow.
Loser wall. That was me.
There was a loser wall in Charlotte. All right.
Yeah, I was struggling. And I oftentimes would dance with the girls that, no one else would dance with. And so maybe a good guy in that regard, or maybe just we were both desperate, and so we just found each other. That was always the situation.
I do have a couple questions. So I try to find a happy medium. You never want to be the guy that has to be in the middle. Like when the dance circle forms, first guy in there. You don't want to be that guy. Like, all right, we get it. You can dance.
It's my friend.
You don't. Yeah, we don't need. Let's have some other people in the circle. But we also don't want to be Mr. Timid guy that refuses. Everyone's pushing as hard as they can. Dude, just get in the circle for 5 seconds. Like, have a little fun. And then my other question is, some people will dance, do like actual dances, but some people will turn everyday movements and actions into dance moves. Like for you, you're a swimmer. Do you bring out the free stroke? Are you free stroking on the dance floor? Are you opening? Are you doing the toothbrush? Are you opening the washing machine, putting the clothes in, putting the clothes in? That can't be a
thing. Tell me that's not a thing.
100% a thing.
Oh my God.
I'm saying there is no stopping. If you are on that side of the aisle I'm just going to take an everyday thing and turn it into a dance move. It can be done, but it can be a epic failure. Yeah.
Kindly leave. We'll ask them off the dance floor. But so that was my start in the dance realm in 6th grade. It did not go well. And then flash forward to, single Bryce post college, in college, when I went to a lot of weddings. I went to, I don't know, probably pushing 30 weddings. And many of those I went by myself before Jody and I started dating and got married. And so I was always the guy that like people were begging to come out. Oh, come on, Bryce, you got to come out to the dance floor. You got to come out to the dance floor. And no, I'm good. I'm gonna have another piece of cake. And so it was always the awkward. No, I don't dance. I don't want to be out there. Please stop bothering me. And so that was the unfortunate part for those years. Then when Jody entered the picture, I was strictly, all right, I'll do the slow dance. I'll go out for the slow dance, and then I would just let Jody dance, whatever the fun, crazy songs. She would just do that with the other ladies. Now, I would get a little concerned. Sometimes the guys, they sneak in there. The guy you mentioned who wants to be at the center, sometimes he gets out there with all the single ladies and, hey, easy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I dropped my mic. I just dropped the mic.
Bryce is getting aggressive here. He does not appreciate the guy who gets into the center of the circle.
Oh, no, we've lost the screw. This is no good.
Let's just zoom in on Bryce here.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. Look at him.
Oh, no.
It's chaos.
Intern Andrew is trying to help, but he has knocked over a light. We are in trouble. Oh, my. This is what happens when we start our show talking about dancing. Bryce's least favorite thing.
I will say.
Thank you, Luke. This was not planned.
I will say, though, if you are married, it doesn't matter if you're an atrocious dancer or not. You're married. Oh, he's a married guy. Yeah, we don't care how good he dances. He's dancing with his wife. But if you are single, there is some strategy. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes, hey, you can't miss if you don't shoot. So
That's
don't
fair.
walk out to the dance floor unless you are at least competent, because it can be an absolute train wreck quickly. But the wedding was fun. It was a lot of college buddies got to reminisce with and talk to. So
I'm glad to hear it. Well, we'll how about this?
For those listening to the podcast after the fact, Bryce is now he has turned a non-handheld mic into a handheld mic, but holding it in the most non-handheld way possible.
Yeah, this is fantastic. What a day! What a day! This is what happens when I'm gone for a week. So, all right, I will say this. Now that I've got little Maddie, I dance around the house. And what's funny is we have like a window on the door of our kitchen that's just wide open for the neighborhood. So I can only imagine people are looking over and seeing me dance around the kitchen like a crazy person. But when you're with your daughter, it doesn't matter.
Your daughter, it's fine.
It's
when you go on a solo mission and the dog walkers happen to look to their right and see you.
That's
maybe
not
just
good.
Disheveled, bathrobe on. What's this guy doing?
Yeah. That's always a risk. We always wonder about that because there is a window in our bathroom that's questionable. It's like, can people see?
You might need to board that one up.
Yeah, we usually just keep the lights off. Yeah, it's scary. But anyway, all right. So we got so much to get to today. We're talking dancing and all the important topics. But let's begin with I'm convinced, and let's actually start with Henry. Let's say good morning to Henry. Henry had a big weekend at the Travelers Golf Tournament and just a wild tournament. He was giving us play-by-play throughout the week. So, Henry, good morning. How are you? How'd you survive the weekend? How much fun did you have on the golf course? How much dancing took place?
What's going on, boys? Now, as far as dancing is concerned, my wife and I, we did do a little cha-cha slide on the golf course on Thursday.
Ooh,
so
all right.
We did get that in there. And for you boys, the best advice that I could give you is the line dance. Every wedding has a line dance.
Can't
and
mess
my
that
recommendation for you guys is the electric slide, the cha-cha slide, and the Cupid shuffle.
Cupid shuffle. Yeah,
Cupid, if you're single, you just get in the back of the line, because once those songs come on, everybody comes out. And so all you got to do is just keep in step with everybody else and you'll be all right.
I do like the electric slide. I'll give you that one.
All right.
So,
yeah.
But as far as what I'm convinced of, I'm convinced that you guys have got, a few people have tried to get me into golf, but Bryce Johnson and Luke Heaton have accomplished what most have failed to do. They've made me a golf fan.
Wow.
This weekend at the Travelers Championship, which is a big event here in Connecticut. The PGA Tour calls it the fifth the fifth major.
Oh yeah.
And so my wife and I had a day off from doing the show for iHeartRadio. And so we took in the Thursday, we took in the opening day, and we were on the 10th tee. And so the 10th tee is 462 yards from tee to hole. And I didn't realize it. I had been there a couple of times just for work, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But when I wasn't working, I actually got to sit down and my wife knew nothing about golf. So I was the big hero and explaining to her everything that's going on. And so I actually got to sit and look at the 10th tee. And I'm like, these boys have to go through 2 sets of trees just to hit the fairway.
Yeah.
I'm like, these guys, I'm like, I would probably hit the tree every single time.
100%.
But what was so fun about the Travelers is that we were on the 10th tee and we were right there in the afternoon tee times. So all we did was just watch guys tee off, watch guys tee off, watch guys tee. We were like, oh, okay. Oh, is he going to hit it this way? Where's he going to hit it? Who's this guy? And just keeping up with the scores is like, oh, Bubba's doing this, Bubba's doing that, and who's this Harris English guy? And where did Brooks Koepka come from? From out of nowhere, yeah. Jason Day's up here trying to catch people, and then all of a sudden he falls off. And then of course we have Bubba Watson, who was in the driver's seat up until 14, and then I don't know what happened. It looked like a car. It looked like a train wreck. Boys, you wouldn't have even wanted to see this. We're talking bogey, 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 double bogey, and then bogey to finish off. He was at 13 under at halfway at the turn, and then winds up 7 under for the tournament, tied for 19th. And I haven't even talked about the 2 guys who actually went into an 8-hole
Unbelievable.
playoff.
Unbelievable.
8-hole playoff. Like, is somebody going to win this thing? They kept parring all the holes. It didn't look like anybody wanted to win. They would look like they were playing to lose. I'm like, dude, guys, you're playing for $2 million. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Until eventually Harris English winds up winning the tournament, and I believe he's the only one to win multiple tournaments this year. So it was a great time. It was a great time at the Travelers Championship. If you're ever in Connecticut and you're around Travelers time, my suggestion would be to definitely go take in a round.
Hey, shout out to my wife, works for Travelers. So here's a Travelers plug. She was at last year's tournament. She was going to be in the VIP tent because they have, I think half the volunteers are Travelers employees, I believe. So she was going to be in the VIP tent, checking on the big names. Hey, you need this, little networking. But then they canceled. No volunteers and just players only last year. So but I just got a new Travelers Peter Millar golf shirt, discounted. So
nice.
So I added that to the arsenal. So we're feeling it divine right now.
Nice.
I love it. Well, cool. Well, Henry, I'm glad you had a great time and great experience. And golf is a wonderful game. I still would rather watch it than play it, but that's just me.
Teach their own.
So, and I still like golf on TV. Like we have the Wells Fargo Championship here in Charlotte, and so I try to go to at least one round a year. I did not go this year, but I try to go to at least one every year because it's always fun to be there. But you can't beat golf on TV because the problem is when you're just stuck at one hole, you don't know what's going on the other holes. Whereas when you're at home, you're watching the best of the best, and whatever's happening, you're in the know. So it's a great experience. If a golf tournament comes near you, it's great to be there. But I still, man, golf on TV, it's awesome. And especially a playoff, an 8-hole playoff. That's tremendous. Yeah. So, well, cool. All right, so there's Henry. We'll hear from Henry in just a little bit. We'll do our segment Tap Drill. We'll have some fun there. And I'll save my I'm convinced in a little bit. I want to jump into Unpack This. And it's interesting that today's topic is no more excuses. And today we started our show late, and so I could come in and fill you with a bunch of excuses for why I was running behind this morning or why we didn't start the show on time and, why my hair doesn't look as good as it could, why I didn't shave, all those excuses. But here's why we bring up this topic. And so Unpack This, we take a current sports story related to the Bible, related to our own lives, and love talking Jesus, talking faith here on the show. And so here's the topic today. As we head into the NFL season, there are certain teams and players where the time is now. And there's an article on ESPN with this headline: for the Raiders, Derek Carr, no more excuses, real or imagined. It's time. And I'm a Derek Carr fan. He has been a guest on Unpacking It. I love Derek Carr. He's been on my fantasy teams. He's great. But now is the time for the Raiders to take the step forward. No more excuses. You got a run game. You got weapons at receiver. You got one of the top tight ends in the league. You've built through the draft. You've added key defensive players. You know, Mike Mayock has taken over. You got a new GM. You've got a Super Bowl winning coach. It's now or never. No more excuses for the Oakland Raiders or for the Las Vegas Raiders. And so, you can say, the Chiefs are in our division, or the Broncos are up and coming, or the Chargers are going to be good. No more excuses for the Raiders. It's time. And Henry mentions you can apply this to the New York Giants and Daniel Jones. No more excuses. Daniel Jones has tons of weapons with the Giants. I mean, loaded with talent. As long as Saquon Barkley comes back and plays, as well as he did his first couple seasons before getting hurt, they can count on a strong offense this year. Especially with the Giants. And so you look across the league and some of these, kind of younger players, hey, no more excuses. LA Rams, you can't blame Jared Goff anymore. Now you got Matthew Stafford. No more excuses from Sean McVay in regards to the quarterback position. All right, so how does this relate to our own lives? We know what excuses are. And trust me, I am guilty of the excuses. And here are some of the common things that we do in life. I'm too busy. And so that's always an excuse. I'm too busy, so I can't serve at church. I can't reach out to my friends. Oh, I forgot to call you back. I'm too busy. I haven't taken care of what my wife asked me to do. I'm too busy. So that's one excuse. Oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do, I can't serve. I can't give here, help here. Can't help that person. Don't have enough money. Okay, another excuse. What are the other excuses that you resonate with? And hopefully they filter through your mind. Sometimes we're in denial where we don't even recognize the excuses that we're always giving. And for me, one of my struggles in life is I'm always late. And so I always have some excuse for why I'm late to something. But there comes a point where those excuses get old. Just like with the Las Vegas, I keep wanting to call them the Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. No more excuses. Derek Carr. It's time. You got the talent, you got the arm strength, you got the weapons. Let's get back to that MVP caliber quarterback play that you had just a few years ago. Carson Wentz, he's out of Philadelphia. No more excuses. You're in Indy with Frank Reich. This is your year. Let's make it happen. And so for you and I, we've got to remove a lot of these excuses that we use all the time. And a lot of it leads to procrastination. It leads to us not doing what God is calling us to do. We come up with a whole list of reasons why we can't do something, even though we know that God is pushing us, encouraging us, calling us to do something, to step out of the boat, to take a step of faith, and to move forward in impactful ways, fruitful ways that He's clearly identified for us. And so that's one side of it. The other side of it is a little bit more spiritual when it comes to following Jesus. Now, for some people, they come up with all sorts of excuses for why they don't believe. Well, I don't believe in the Bible because of this. And they have all these different excuses. I don't believe God is good, and they have different excuses. Or, I don't want to follow Jesus, and a bunch of excuses. And so you can read the New Testament. And there are some of those excuses that pop up. Oh, well, yeah, no, I'll follow Jesus, but let me go take care of this first. I got a family situation I got to go deal with, or a work situation I got to go deal with first. And then I'll follow Jesus. Yeah, I'll follow Jesus later. No more excuses. And this idea that I don't know if God is real. Guess what? He's made Himself very evident to us. We look all around. There's no excuse. Just the experience of watching a baby born. That's all the miraculous evidence that we need, that there is a creator, that there is someone above and beyond us. And that is God. And so here's what it says in Romans that I think is an important verse, Romans 1:20. And this, speaks to that we don't have any excuse for not believing and not understanding that there really is a God. So it says, forever since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through his workmanship, all his creation, the wonderful things that he has made, so that they who fail to believe and trust in him are without excuse and without defense. There's no excuse. God is good. God is faithful. God is love. God is real. God is the creator. Just look around at this amazing universe that we have, and the just the bigness of God. He's there. He loves us, and then how personal he became for us when Jesus came and represented who God is in human form, the perfect man, the Son of God. And so now we can know him, follow him, and experience the life that he has for us. We got to drop the excuses and go all in and follow him each day and surrender our lives to him and experience all that he has for us. And so it's a message for me today. I'm an excuse maker for a lot of, worldly things, practical day-to-day things that still take away from relationships and strain certain situations. But then also spiritually speaking, no more excuses for why we're not reading the Bible. We just got to get up a little bit earlier, right? The benefit of spending time with God. Let's stop making excuses for why it's not happening. And we got to stop with the excuses for why we're not going to church. I know the Rona is still going on in many ways, but we got to take the steps to get back into church and to start serving and to be a part of this body of believers. It's so crucial and important. So that's my encouragement to all of us today. Luke, you want to jump in and add any other thoughts to this?
Man, this this conversation could go so many different directions. Apologetics, discipleship, sanctification. First thing I'll say is
Luke is in seminary, so all those big words, those are from Luke in seminary.
Hey, we should know what sanctification means.
That's right. We should.
But the first thing that comes to mind is, man, as finite people, we sure act like we're infinite so often, especially with the amount of time we think we have. My wife said this yesterday. Man, life's too short to have bad friends. Ooh. Man, that's so true. You could say that sentence for everything. Man, life's too short to not spend time in God's word. Life's too short to pretend like I don't need to be real about my sin. Life's too short to blow off fellowshipping with God. Life's too short to not repent. There's so many things. It's so easy to get caught up in, oh, I'll live forever. But man, one, obviously, we could all die at any moment in time. And if you think how my pastor this weekend was talking about this idea of it's so easy to just kind of reject God and focus on ourselves. But man, we are fragile people. Think of what it takes to keep us alive. We have to eat every few hours. We have to drink water all the time. We have to sleep. We have to constantly be worried about our safety. We have to go to the doctor. We have to go to the dentist. And obviously, those things are not true of every culture, but a lot of those things, the idea we have to eat, sleep, and drink, or we will die. We are so fragile, but yet we think we are superhumans and we're infinite and we have all the time in the world and we're so inward focused that we put off the important things that have eternal value. One, repenting and placing your faith in Jesus Christ should be done now. Like there is no time to waste. But yet we always make excuses on when we'll be real with our sin. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Well, let me focus on this season of life and then I'll start taking Christ seriously. In what world do you think you're guaranteed the next season of life? There's no way we should think that. And then, yeah, I don't know, there's just so many directions we could go. And then, yeah. So I love what you're talking about. I love processing this idea of how finite we are, how frail we are, and how seriously we need to take God now, especially considering that he's good and he's faithful and he loves us. It's not like we're taking seriously a God that is deceptive, that's a liar, that's evil. Like, he is creator and he is good. He is worthy because he is God. So let's take that seriously. Obviously, we all know how hard that is. We're still sinful people. We are selfish. We are prideful all the time. But man, Life's too short to have bad friends. Life's too short to not take God seriously because he's God. And man, we are so finite. So man, let's take that. Let's take it seriously. One step, application. What's one thing that you can start taking more seriously in your relationship with God? It doesn't have to be, because I get caught up in this all the time. I'll get overwhelmed with all the things I have to do, and then I'll end up doing none of it. Oh my gosh, I have so much to do. I'm just going to do none of it.
That's right.
Let's think of one thing. What's one thing in your relationship with God that you need to take more seriously? That you need, maybe it's repenting. God, I haven't followed you in a long time, or I haven't followed you at all. Repent. Maybe it's I haven't spent any time in my local church. Maybe that. Maybe it's I've been in the church for 10 years, but I have not served once. Maybe it's start serving. Just pick one thing and then start doing that and be faithful. And then that faithfulness will multiply. But at minimum, we have to start taking God seriously.
Amen. Amen. And what's one thing, we can just stop making excuses for and just do it. Just go for it. So let's stop making excuses for why I owe like 3 friends phone calls, and I got to stop making excuses for why I haven't called them back. It's those types of things that I think, man, weeks go by and it's like, no, I got to take care of that. And my wife has asked me to do something. I got to put up something. I haven't done it. It's been months now. It's time. Like I got to stop making excuses. I just got to put that thing up. And of course, like Luke's saying, the more serious things, we got to stop making excuses. So that's the encouragement for us today. You can unpack that. Let us know your thoughts as well. Put something on the chat. Let us know something that you want to stop making excuses for.
Hey, we read the chat.
Yeah,
and we love to put it on. We love to put it on the stream. You chat. You may make the big show. It'll be on the stream.
There you go. Put it on the stream. All right. So make sure you subscribe to the Unpack This devotional. Unpackingit.com has all the information there. You can receive it in your email. All right. So let's jump into some of the sports topics of the day. And Luke, all right, let me start with what I'm convinced of, and we'll start with the NBA. All right. Okay. So here's a silly one. I am convinced the NBA jerseys in the playoffs have got to go. I'm watching the Milwaukee Bucks last night going, what team is playing tonight? The Milwaukee Bucks? What is this, blue? I mean, what happened to the traditional colors? I just don't understand. The Phoenix Suns have one of the greatest jerseys and brands and logos and the
100%.
gorilla, and all of it is awesome. And now they've got Sun City or the Valley, or get out of here with the Valley. The Valley, what are we
Milwaukee,
talking about?
Cream City.
And I don't like Charlotte, Buzz City. We're Charlotte Hornets. Give me the pinstripes, Charlotte Hornets. That's 100%. What I want.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
want
simple.
Buzz
It's
City.
simple. So simple.
Stop. So I don't like that, especially in the playoffs. This is the big boy. Now, if you want to do it on a Tuesday night just to sell some alternative jerseys, I get it. That's a financial decision, marketing decision. Go for it. We are talking about the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals. It is distracting. I want to see DeAndre Ayton dunk the ball wearing the classic Phoenix Suns colors, not this Valley girl. No, get it out. Get it out. That's what I think of. That's what I think of with the Valley. You're probably too young for that.
Oh no, we said Valley Girl. That was
did you? That was a thing
in
that
my
was
middle school
thing?
days. Yeah,
Okay.
we said it. We probably didn't really know what it meant, but we said it.
You knew the Valley Girl. So and I'm also convinced of this. DeAndre Ayton, he is a superstar in the making. I am all in on the center for the Phoenix Suns. I love his game. I grew up a huge David Robinson fan. I see some similarities there. Just a skinny, strong, solid big man that actually wants to, get in the paint, can shoot a little bit, but he's not out there standing at the 3. If I see one more big man standing at the 3, I'm going to lose it. So get in the paint, dunk the ball, use your size, your strength, and Chris Paul's ability to throw alley-oops.
Unreal.
So impressive. And so Ayton benefits greatly from that. So that's the first thing I'm convinced of. I got one more, but you jump in, Luke. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me first comment on your jersey take.
Because you're a Jersey guy. You're a Jersey guy.
Maybe a little. I don't have a ton of jerseys, but I like jerseys. So I will say there's a happy medium. I love throwbacks. Throwback jerseys, especially the Mavs this year. They had their old 1980s green throwbacks. Amazing. Give me the hardwood classics. But the new City edition, they're very hit or miss. The Dallas one, I have not been very thrilled with the Dallas City Edition jerseys.
Or just the Dallas Mavs in general, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But no, so I love hardwood classics. But yeah, the new age, maybe I'm just old man here, but the new age jerseys,
23-year-old.
But I agree with you. The new age jerseys are interesting. I would prefer the normal jerseys and then give me as much hardwood classics as you can give me because they're incredible. Incredible. So my I'm convinced is in the NBA. Now, I'm almost hesitant to say this because I don't want to come across as Mr. Prideful know-it-all sports fan guy.
Ooh, please don't. Please don't. Nobody likes that guy, Luke.
I'm convinced that we have to start taking old retired NBA players' opinions with a ginormous grain of salt. The biggest grain of salt you have ever seen in your life. Guinness World Records grain of salt. Because guys, typically you go in, oh yeah, all sports broadcasts. Let's get a former player. Their opinion is true. They played basketball. They know the game. That is just not the case. For NBA players from the 90s are haters. Haters. Scottie Pippen, whether you agree with his comment about KD and Andre Iguodala, dude is a hater. Shaq, the biggest hater I have ever seen. Part of it's because they're so upset that these new guys are getting so much money, big contracts. Oh, well, back in my day, yeah, we were tough. Yeah, we played real defense. Well, first of all, the game is entirely different. Can we look at your 3-point percentages? Because if we're going to compare eras, how about we go to your 3-point percentage column? Because that was abysmal. So this idea that we should just honor whatever a 90s basketball player says, or even older guys. Yes, I know they know the game, and I'm going to defer to them more than just your normal sports anchor who never played basketball, but they also come at it with pride from their era that overlooks the greatness of the current era. Because the eras change. You can't compare 90s basketball to current basketball. So these older guys are hating on the current players, and I just don't buy it. I buy it sometimes. They have good points sometimes, but I'm convinced we take it with a much bigger grain of salt because it's starting to get ridiculous, the hate that 90s veterans are saying.
All right, so I'm a 90s guy. I love 90s basketball. That's the glory days. That's when I fell in love with basketball. And I've got Michael Jordan on the wall here. But poor Scottie Pippen, he just never gets his due. And so it's almost like, oh, you're like discrediting Scottie Pippen. To me, his opinion does matter. He is one of the best players ever. And dare I say, I'm convinced that Michael Jordan would not have won 6 championships without Scottie Pippen.
Well, that's fair.
Willing to say it. I'm willing to say it because Scottie Pippen did all the little things. He was so crucial defensively, his ability to pass and run the point when he needed to. He was kind of a point forward. He would hit big shots. He was so smooth. And so he's got a great perspective on the game of basketball. He is a champion. And when Shaq speaks, he is a champion. He understands what it takes. He understands what it takes to be a big man. Now, where he loses credibility for me is, hey, hit a free throw. I still hold that against him, that he never mastered the free throw shooting. Anybody that can't shoot free throws, to me, it just drives me nuts. It's a discipline, and you got to get in the gym and shoot free throws. And if it is a mental thing, you got to overcome that. And you got to work with some, the psychology coaches type of things. So anyway, that's my thought. And I'm okay with the older guys like bringing some perspective to the conversation. But don't downgrade, to your point. Don't downgrade what the players are doing now. Kevin Durant, unbelievable player, but I'm on the side that Kevin Durant can't carry a team to a championship. So that's where I come out on it. As good as he is, I don't think he's got the it factor to actually go win a championship where he's carrying a team that couldn't do it without him, type of thing. Because the Warriors could do it without him because they already did.
And again, that's why I said I didn't want to come across as Mr. Know-It-All sports fan. Because again, I do typically defer to former players' opinions, but not when it's hating the new guys. Because these 90s guys come and calling the league soft. I agree. The league is softer, but that's also because the rules have changed. You can't hand check someone. You can't play on-ball defense as physical. And the shots that are being taken is completely different. So it's not as simple as hating on guys for being soft. the rules don't even allow them to be as physical. I'm all for making it a more physical game. How they dish out flagrants, atrocious, so frustrating. You breathe on a guy and you're ejected. It's absurd. But
yeah, I know we did get into that a little bit last week or a couple weeks ago because what was it? Jokic that got kicked out of the game.
Oh yeah, come on, ejected for that? What are we doing?
I know. So all right, let's stay in the NBA real quickly. I know some people are not NBA fans, but this is the question for us today: are the NBA playoffs better or worse without LeBron James, without Steph Curry, without Kevin Durant? Right? Those are probably the three biggest stars in the NBA. Is that's fair? Those three, right? Those are the three. So they're not in it.
Steph, and LeBron, you said?
Yeah. So they're out. So where does that leave us? Are fans jumping on the Trae Young bandwagon with the shimmy? Do we like that? Are we jumping on the Giannis bandwagon? Do we want to see Giannis, a former MVP, win the championship and carry his Bucks despite his head coach? Is he going to go all the way? A little shot at Budenholzer. And then what about the Phoenix Suns? Do people like Chris Paul? And are you rooting for Chris Paul, the veteran? Kind of in the shadow of LeBron and D Wade and Carmelo Anthony. I think all three of those guys probably got more attention throughout their career than now. Part of that was because Carmelo was with the Knicks, but even though Paul probably has won more than Melo, just playoff wise. But the Clippers always fell short when Chris Paul was with Blake Griffin and the Clippers. And so they never really got far, but now they're getting closer. And so I think back to just kind of sports where once a guy sticks around long enough, fans start to root for that guy just because he's been around.
I agree.
It's like, well, he's been around. So yeah, I want to see him win.
Yeah.
So if you're listening right now, where do you come out on that in regards to Chris Paul? Because remember, when he was at Wake Forest, he wasn't always likable. He punched Julius Hodge, and that was a questionable thing. So that stuck with him for a long time.
I would still say he's not likable.
He doesn't see, so that's fair. I don't think he's as likable, but does part of you go, well, yeah, he's not likable, but I'd be happy for him to win. So that's my question for us today.
That's a great question. It's almost like once someone's 35 and a great but hasn't won a ring, your heart wants them to get a ring. Because as a sports fan, you still want to, as a sports fan, if you are so loyal, I don't know if loyal is the right word, but if you're so into your team that you can't acknowledge greatness and can't root for greatness, you're missing out on sports. I don't think CP3 is the most likable guy. His antics kind of frustrate me. He's one of those guys where if he's playing against my team, I despise him. But now watching him, the dude is great. His strategy, the way he sees the game, his antics on trying to draw fouls, trying to get in people's heads, and he's an all-time great point guard. I want to acknowledge that greatness, and I think it'd be awesome if Chris Paul had a championship. That just sounds right. A player like Chris Paul not having a ring, that just doesn't seem fair. I know there's no fairness in sports.
Yeah,
but it feels like, man, it would be awesome if Chris Paul had a ring. But that's true. Once you reach 35, man, we start to be sympathetic as sports fans. Oh, he's old. We play the old guy card. Whoa, he's an old man. Yeah, we want good things to happen to him.
So I have not been a Chris Paul fan. Not a fan. But there is part of me that transitions into what you're talking about. You get to a certain age, you're like, yeah, all right, I guess I'd be happy for him. And you know who else that falls into? Phillip Rivers. Was never a fan of Phillip Rivers, but last year, partly because he was on the Colts, I was pulling for him. And it's like, all right, yeah, Phillip Rivers, he's been around a long time. All right, go for it. And similar to Brett Favre, I wasn't a big Brett Favre fan during the heyday with Green Bay, but toward the end, once he started hanging around so long.
Yeah, you want to see the old guys win.
I don't know. I like Brett Favre. Same with Tom Brady. I did not like Tom Brady for 15 years. And then probably the last 5 years, I've been like, all right, I appreciate him. I gotta respect him. Good for him. Let's see how many he can win. So it's just fun. It's
so interesting
as sports fans, how that happens.
From their age 20 to 30, you hate them. Hate them.
Yeah. And I think Kobe Bryant, a lot of people did not like Kobe Bryant. Then toward the end,
100%.
Especially after he died, now everybody loved him.
Yeah.
It just kind of came out of the woodwork. It was very interesting to see that because I was a fan almost from the beginning. At first, I didn't like Kobe, and then I quickly became a Kobe fan. Maybe because the Hornets traded him. So initially, I was like, wait a second. But then I was all in. pretty quickly.
To your question, though, I do really like the playoffs right now, and I can totally understand and get behind people saying, no, we need to have the KDs, LeBrons, and Stephs. That's what makes NBA playoffs great. Hey, I can totally acknowledge that opinion. For me, though, again, we've talked about this before. I love when small market teams like Milwaukee make it far because small market teams, that doesn't happen very often. I love when new players are able to get an opportunity to shine. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a Trae Young fan. I think he's awesome. I think he's probably trying to become this era's Reggie Miller, which he's done a pretty good job. Like especially playing the Knicks in the opening series. I think Trae Young could play that part really well. But I just love when teams who don't normally have an opportunity or who haven't been able to have success in an opportunity start winning games. Like, that's awesome. If the Bucks won the championship this year, I mean, come on. I'll tip my cap. I would love that for Bucks fans, small market. Because, again, I've said this before. Even though Dallas is an incredibly big market, the way our franchises operate make us feel like a tiny market. So I sympathize with small market teams.
Yeah. No, well, of course, Charlotte, even though I'm in the airport last week and over the announcement, Charlotte's the 15th largest city. I go, wait a second. We're the 15th largest city now. Wow. We're growing like crazy.
Yeah.
Growing like crazy. So it's pretty wild. So we're, technically a small market NBA team, but now we got LaMelo Ball. Let's go. Who else wants to come to Charlotte? We're building around Ball.
Hey, rock the pinstripes more. Maybe that'll rock the hardwood classics. Get some free agents.
Keep Grandmama in the mix. Larry Johnson, bring him back. He's getting some love because of Space Jam. We're talking, Space Jam again.
Hey, coming out soon.
My boy Larry Johnson. That was my favorite Hornet growing up. So, all right. Couple other topics. And then I want to get to tap drill. We're just not going to have time to talk about the NC State situation. And honestly, it's one of these situations that it's very touchy. And it's like, I don't know what direction to go.
Very touchy.
Other than, and most people probably know by now, they get kicked out of the College World Series and it's devastating. I mean, I've got a good friend who's a diehard NC State fan.
Just a gut-wrenching for
loyal
the team
listener,
and
I'm sorry, Brady. I am sorry that your team, you're following them closely, that they had to go home this way. But I think what bothers me the most is the hypocrisy and the inconsistencies, really the whole time with the coronavirus and some of the protocols and the rules. It all just didn't add up and make sense, and that's what created a lot of confusion. The idea that always drove me nuts with the coaches, why they had a mask and then they take it off when they go into the huddle. And they're standing there alone, they have the mask on, and then if they're talking to their players, they take it down. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. All right, that was that.
Players tossing on a mask in the locker room and on the sidelines.
They're rubbing up on each other, boxing out, and then when they go to the bench and they're separated from each other, they put the mask on. But then when they talk in the huddle, they put it down. So none of that makes any sense. And so with this NC State situation, it's the fact that fans are still allowed. So 20,000 fans are in attendance, and they're not being tested or anything like that, yet the players are. So there's some frustration that I absolutely understand with that the NCAA is making money off of the fans and the crowd. But then to eliminate a game isn't great either. So that doesn't help with the revenue. So then that argument doesn't fully add up either. So just a lot of gray area, a lot of frustration, a disappointment. You would have hoped at this point, we're talking June, a year later, that some of this would have been worked out a little bit better so that we weren't seeing cancellations. And you feel the whole time throughout this, I've really had a heart for high school and college kids because 100%. It's a special time in your life. Now, for middle schoolers, if you missed some time in middle school, good for you. You lucked out. But high schoolers in college and for us,
hey, speak for yourself. Some people in middle school were the glory days.
Oh, you peaked in middle. I told you I was standing at the loser wall. So I got turned down twice for the dance. It's not a good time.
So high school was your time to shine.
College. I peaked in college. In college. 5th grade and then college. Fifth grade, big year of 5th grade. I won the Academic Excellence Award and finished 3rd in the turkey trot. That was
wow. So 5th grade was like you got rookie of the year and then just battling injuries whole career. College, old guy. We're rooting for him to get a championship.
That's it. There you go. It all comes full circle. The Seinfeld of sports podcasts.
That's right.
What was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. But anyway.
Oh, NC State.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going. But anyway.
It's just gut-wrenching. All that you said, and then add on that they had a legitimate shot to win a championship.
Yeah.
That is just because John Rahm is kicked out of the Memorial, but 2 weeks later he's got a chance to win a U.S. Open. NC State, no second chances. It's so unfortunate. Oh, Daniel called it like it is.
That's my roommate. That was my roommate. Oh man, call me out. Hold me accountable.
But you did peak with what's that thing you'd always make for Super Bowl parties in college?
Oh, barf dip.
Barf dip. Just for the sake of the audience, can we get a quick description of what barf dip is? Because for those who don't know, Bryce is very proud of this, and I have heard about barf dip, maybe possibly more than I've heard him talk about Jake Delhomme, which is really saying something.
Yeah, so growing up, my mom always made this thing called barf dip. So it's a Mexican dip, and 2 ingredients. Those are secret ingredients, and it is delicious. So when I would have birthday parties growing up, big bonfires in the backyard, we would have barf dip, and people loved it. They loved it. I'd go to college, Super Bowl parties, barf dip. Everybody loved it, and everybody would always ask for the recipe, but I can't give it. I can't give it out. So I bring it out every once in a while these days, but maybe not as much. I'm trying to eat a little healthier. Those 2 ingredients are not real healthy.
Head to Charlotte if you want some barf dip. Head to Charlotte.
That's right. But what I was saying, I remember my train of thought. Just I feel bad for college kids and high school kids,
exactly,
especially the athletes that this is your one window of opportunity. This was NC State's. Like they're not like John Rahm, who the next week or 2 weeks later you get a chance to win another tournament. This is it. Like these seniors, that's it. So that's devastating for NC State fans and players, coaches, everyone involved. So I do feel for them.
I agree for that.
Even as a Duke fan.
Last year, seniors in high school, the guys I was youth leaders for, they were seniors in high school last year, or juniors. But knowing their senior friends, it's just so heartbreaking. Senior year, last year, play sports, how that affects recruiting, or that just how it affects a player wanting to just enjoy their senior year of sports in high school. Some people, I did not appreciate this at all. Some people would be like, well, people are out here dying. There's way more worse problems than losing your senior year of football. Okay, yes, that's true. But to say someone can never be sad about it, how do we rank? There's no idea. Well, you don't experience something that's sad enough to be able to actually be sad about it. We should affirm the things people lost.
Yeah.
Whether it's losing a loved one or losing a senior season in football. Both of those things we're allowed to be sad about. So I did not appreciate when people would make people feel guilty for what they thought were not important things.
That's right. Yeah, sure. In the scheme of things, I get that argument. That's fine. But for these individuals, these players, man, they were feeling the momentum, feeling the run, and
all the work they put in. Yeah.
Wait a second. And some of these guys were actually vaccinated, and then they still tested positive.
And they almost won with half a roster. They almost beat Vandy, and they had a pitcher.
Yeah.
They had a pitcher that had no at bats all season. Went 3 for 4. They had 5 players starting in different positions. Oh, just give them a chance.
I know. Let them go. Let them 5 players. Let's see what they can do. Who's healthy? Who's healthy? Get on out there. Let's go. Grab some fans.
Come on.
Don't cancel games. Nobody wants to cancel games. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
All right. Let's make sure we get to tap drill. We still haven't talked about Luke and my big dinner. I think everybody's waiting around to hear about our dinner in Texas. So we do need to get to that. But let's do tap drill, and then we'll jump into fun times in Texas. All right, Henry, go ahead. Take it away. Tap drill. We lost him.
Ooh, he's a little frozen, a little chilly over there.
Oh no, Henry's still recovering from the Travelers.
Oh, there we go. My bad.
He's back on, baby.
You guys are making me hungry. I want to hear about that dinner too.
Ooh, it was
listen.
delicioso.
Right. Let's go to tap drill. All right, first off, we've been talking about golf all morning. And how would you feel about being Harris English trying to make the putt to win the Travelers? Now, that's nothing compared to James Conrad, who took the #1 spot in the Sports Center top 10 by hitting a 247-foot shot just to make it to the playoff. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube. James Conrad, #1 spot on ESPN SportsCenter. I can't even fling a frisbee 10 feet. This dude hit 247 yards.
Yeah,
Excuse me, 247 feet to make it to the playoff, and then winds up winning the disc golf championship. So I don't know if you boys saw it, but my question to you is that the most clutch shot that you've ever seen?
Oh, wow. We're going to put disc golf into the most clutch shot ever. Yikes. Now, we'll give him some
247 feet, man.
No, I don't understand. I can't figure out how to throw a disc golf. I've played. I've gone out there. It's a nice afternoon. You walk through the woods and you throw a little frisbee into a little metal basket.
Very fun. Very fun.
It's nice, but I can't figure it out. I don't know how to do it, and so it's frustrating. So I guess from that standpoint, I admire those guys that just can fling it and they know exactly where that thing's going, because you got to play the wind and then to land into the hole, which is metal chain, whatever. Good for him. That's impressive. So
I know a disc golf disc is not like a frisbee, but tonight Madeline and I are teaching campers at our church how to throw a frisbee at the kids' sports camp. Sports and Fine Arts camp. So I better figure it out.
Sports and Fine Arts. That's hilarious.
So we're at the frisbee station. But that's impressive. So I was actually looking up. A disc golf hole-in-one is not as rare as a golf hole-in-one, but still incredibly impressive. I played disc golf. I'm probably below mediocre, but very difficult. Also, Henry, you talked about how would we feel about Harris English's 16-foot putt to win the Travelers. This may be just an appraisal of my self-confidence and competitiveness. I would much rather a 50-footer for the win than a 3-footer, because
really,
I would be. I'm terrified regardless. The 50-footer you miss, you're probably supposed to miss that. A 3-footer to win a golf tournament, my knees would be shaking. I would look like Elvis out there. I would be so terrified.
Point. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's that fear of failure. Gosh,
that's the mind tricks coming into play when it's like that 3-foot putt. It's like shooting the free throw with no time left to win the championship. The mind games come into play. Now, staying in golf with conventional golf, we're talking about being clutch. There's nothing more clutch than holing out and winning some coin. And that's what your boy Brooks Koepka did when he had a side bet with Dustin Johnson. So their side bet for people that were in the know and that they were reporting was that if you hole out from 50 yards, not 50 feet now, 50 yards and beyond, that's $1,000. So Brooks Koepka decides that he wants to hole out not from 50 yards, but from 159 yards out, makes it, I believe, into the 13th on the Travelers, and you could see him on camera doing the money sign, looking directly at the camera to Dustin Johnson, saying,
give me the money.
Pay up, buddy.
Wow. That's an incredible feeling. I've chipped in, or I've made a shot from like 60 yards off the green, and it was one of the best feelings emotionally I have ever experienced. But these guys actually do it routinely. Like, you talk to a guy like Justin Thomas, I think he has like 18 hole-in-ones, which is just, like, it makes me just want to hate him. Like, what? Give me some of those. Give me one of those. You have 18? What do you need 18 for? Come on.
Dude, if I make a hole-in-one, I'm never playing golf again.
Ever. That's what you say. But the golf bug would be biting you all over the place, and you would be in its trap forever.
Hey, like I said before, guys, you've convinced me. I'm a golf fan, so...
Henry's in. All right, man. What's next?
All right, let's get one more tap drill in before we get to the dinner at Texas here. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the 1996 NBA draft. You got guys like Marcus Camby, Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Bryce's guy Sharif Abdul-Rahim. So, boys, my single question to you is this: who is the best of the 96 draft?
Ooh.
Well, I got Kobe on the wall, but Steve Nash, the fact that he, coming out of Santa Clara, the career that he had, he's underrated. because he went like
And was going to think maybe
16th
play pro
overall.
soccer. Wasn't he thinking about playing pro soccer?
From Canada. That's an incredible story for Steve Nash. Now coaching the Nets. I mean, that's pretty cool. So the depth of that draft. And so I was 10 years old during the 96 draft. That's when I became an NBA fan. And I was talking about Kobe earlier. That's when I started collecting cards, basketball cards. That is my era. I love it. I love that draft. Allen Iverson is still underrated. He's better than all these guys right now. Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, some of these guys, point guards that score and carry their teams. AI took Aaron McKee and Eric Snow and Tyrone Hill and Dikembe and Todd McCullough to the NBA Finals. Was Keith Van Horn there?
And they won game 1, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Stepping over Ty Lue.
That was the game he stepped over Ty Lue. That's right.
Stephon Marbury was good early in his career playing with Kevin Garnett. Ray Allen, tremendous career, one of the best shooters of all time. That was a loaded draft. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Shout out to my buddy Ryan Keene for his favorite player in this draft, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Don't you dare don't sleep on Big Z. He used to destroy me in 2K with Big Z. It was so frustrating.
He's no Vitaly Potapenko.
He's got his jersey in the rafters in Cleveland.
Vitaly Potapenko. He was drafted. I think he was drafted by Cleveland as well.
Big
Eric
Z.
Dampier. Oh, the legends.
Ooh, Mavs legend. Peja Stojakovic, champion with the Mavs.
Peja wasn't in that draft. Peja was not in that draft.
I'm looking at the 96 draft.
No, not Peja. Sorry.
I'm looking at his name right here. 14th.
Peja Stojakovic? No.
Yes, 14th to the Kings. Peja.
Really? The 96 draft?
He played with Chris Webber and those boys.
Oh yeah,
on the Sacramento Kings.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of Hedo Turkoglu.
Oh, those Magic teams, unreal. Oh my gosh. And Michael Petrus, gosh, or Mikhail Petrus, right. So good.
Redick was on that team. All
right, boys. I'm done with Tap Drill. Let's get back to you guys and the summit in Texas. That's what we want to hear about.
All right, so the diehard listeners are still listening now, and so Luke and I, we met 2 years ago when Luke came to Charlotte from the Texas, Dallas area to intern with us here at Unpacking It. We didn't want him to leave us, so we hired him after the internship, and he's been with us now for the last 2 years. Well, 2 years have gone by, and I have not seen Luke face to face. He has gotten married. He has grown a larger mustache. And so this past week, I was at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. So people from all over, at least the country, maybe around the world, were there in Dallas. What do we call it? What's the area? Grapevine.
Yep, at the Gaylord Texan.
The Gaylord Texan. And so it was a great convention. I spoke one of the days and was able to meet a lot of cool people. Benjamin Watson, who had been a guest on Unpacking It, met him. Cameron Arnett is an actor. He was there. He was on our show last summer. Cool guy. So got to see some great people. And
Dennis Quaid
was there, but I missed him. I did miss Dennis Quaid, but he was there promoting a Reagan movie. But anyway, the highlight of the week, of course, was going to see Luke and meeting Madeline. So we went out for a nice Tex-Mex dinner.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll let you jump in, Luke, as your big takeaway from the night. And then I've got to make an observation as well. So you go first.
So first, on a serious note, so good to see Bryce because I think the world of him. Great boss, great friend, great husband and father. To think it's been 2 years is wild. You and I would crack up all day in the office. It was just you and me in that little office. You stuck me in the corner. Oh, it was hilarious. But hearing all, you clearing your throat all the time, the heavy inhales. But it was fun. The first day I was in Charlotte, you took me out to have Greek food. So that was where it started. But it's so crazy just hearing your radio voice across a screen for 2 years and then talking on the phone, but then seeing you in person, it's like, oh my gosh, you're a real person.
Yes,
so,
I am.
It was great to see you. Super excited you got to meet Madeline. I love it. It's been fun people getting to meet her for the first time just because haven't been able to see a ton of people the past year.
That's right.
So that was really exciting. Selfishly, got to go to my favorite Tex-Mex place growing up, La Hacienda Ranch, which translated, I think, means the ranch, because I think hacienda means ranch in Spanish. So interesting observation there. But very fun. Very fun. I have a few observations as well, but I don't want to steal your thunder. So I'll let you go first. And then if you miss anything, I will gladly point out some other important features of the night.
All right. So, anytime you go, so I'm used to this because I was single for a while. So I would go out with couples and be the single crazy guy. And so I was kind of in that role a little bit with when I'm there with Luke and Madeline. So I'm sitting on the other side of the booth with these two. So Luke and I, we can talk for hours. We talk about, we talk on the show. We have a big old time. Thanks, Henry. Henry's got to run. We'll see you, buddy. Great work. So anyway, so we're having a big old time. So the night's going on, and when I go out to eat dinner, I go long. I'm a slow eater and a long talker. So when you go out with me, you are in. You better know the commitment that you are making. And I'm out of town. I don't have to get back for bedtime. I am out of town. I am on the town, and so I'm having a big old time. So a couple of hours passed. We're laughing, having a good time. Madeline's great. Awesome to meet her. And all of a sudden, I'm telling stories, I'm talking, and I look over, and Madeline does the tap that says, "It is time to go. It is time. I have had enough. It is getting late. Can we please get out of here?" She didn't have to say anything. She gave Luke the tap. Now, this wasn't a tap underneath the table. It was a tap on top of the table to say, "Luke, you better make a move. You better figure this thing out." Because I picked up the tab, and so you couldn't use the excuse of, "Oh, let me get the check." I'm responsible for that. I'm controlling when this thing ends.
It's in the palm of your hand. The evening.
So I know I'm in charge. But thankfully, I've been around the block or two. When it comes to social situations, you have to be able to pick up on the social cues. Now, maybe I missed one earlier in the night, but I did notice this one, and I knew it was time to go. Did I read it correctly, Luke? Did I read it correctly?
I don't know. I don't recall consciously being aware of a tap. We had been there a while, so I cannot confirm or deny. All I will confirm is that we had a great time, and we did not get in the car and say, "Man, that was long." So I can, with total trust in what I'm saying, we did not say that. So we had a great time, and it was great to catch up. And you talked to Madeline, but that's funny that was a potential observation, none that her and I had discussed.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. And so then the other debacle, well, not the other, the debacle of Bryce's trip to Texas.
Oh man, we should show the picture, the selfie.
The picture is unbearable. So as you can see, if you are watching the podcast right now, I use hair gel.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I use hair gel is because my hair needs hair gel. Mm-hmm. Now, some guys can do Andrew's here. He's got no hair gel. He's just got some nice, red hair. It's flowing. It's curly. He's good to go. Rolls out of bed.
Side note, is it red hair? Are we extending red hair too generously here?
It's blondish red. Blondish red.
I would love to see. I would love to hear what he claims, because if he's going to claim to be part of the bloodline, then I would love to welcome him.
Oh, he's in.
Okay.
He's in. He's Irish. German. Oh, German.
German.
Okay.
Hey, I'm German as well.
You are. There you go. So you guys are
Andrew's a guy that's blessed with hair that just falls in place.
Yeah, so it's good. You're good. So good for you. For me, I need hair gel.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you need it.
So here I was last week. So last Monday, I had to catch a flight. I still did the show last Monday. Remember, I was here. Then that afternoon, I had to prepare to leave for most of the week. Well, one of the casualties when it came to packing up my bag, and I'm not gonna make an excuse, because Jody's the one that packed my bag. She packed my toiletries, which was very sweet of her. So she's a great wife. She helped me pack. But Jody forgot the hair gel. Now, I also forgot the hair gel. So I'm not going to blame her. I'm not going to give that excuse like we talked about earlier. The two of us forgot the hair gel. So I wore a hat on the plane. So I'm flying to Texas. I arrive, and I recognize that next morning that I had no hair gel.
Yep. It's panic. You wake up, you got bedhead, hair's crazy, you look in the mirror and you think, no, I can't fix this.
So here I am at this convention. some of the world's leaders in Christian media and broadcasting. Who knows who we could partner with? Who knows who could help us? And I'm walking around like a big goof who blew dry his hair. Blow dry his hair. I don't even know how to say it. But I used the hotel's blow dryer. So I'm in there blowing my hair, trying to salvage this nasty hair. And I walked out looking like just a total goof.
Well, let's
sixth grade Bryce, who would have gotten turned down at the dance. That's who I look like.
Let's just acknowledge you went with a new hairstyle because the blow drying technique, unable to go the gelled back hairstyle. So you had to, on the fly, conjure up a hairstyle meant for you blow drying your hair. Yeah. And the selfie you showed me. My original question is, the only way you get off this is if there was a no hat policy at the conference. Why was the hat not in the arsenal as a backup plan?
No, you're exactly right.
Because you wore the hat to dinner.
I did wear the hat to dinner. So, it's a professional convention. And so, I was going to be a speaker. And so what, was I going to walk around with a hat? I couldn't justify it. Mm-hmm. And so I chose the goofy hair instead of the hat. And it was an absolute debacle. I walked around feeling so insecure. I felt just like everybody's staring at me. Everybody's laughing at me. So I had no confidence to walk up to anybody. I was avoiding people just so they wouldn't see me wearing my hair like this. And so what ended up happening is back to our dinner. So Luke, I had no car there. I had an Uber to the hotel. And so Luke and Madeline had to pick me up from the hotel to take me out to dinner. Well, what did I do while we were out? Hey guys, can we stop by so I can get some hair gel?
Well, you texted me earlier. I texted you. Well, I hadn't heard from you. So I was like, did this dude even make it? So I texted you, when are we picking you up and what time? And you sent me 3 texts. The first 2 were just, let me send the most minimal text possible so I can get to the more important one. You say, Gaylord out front, when is good for you? Do you have any hair gel I can borrow? And maybe can we go to the store tonight? I said, I don't have much, but we could stop by a store. You said, great, I look like a Yeti.
Do you know what that line's from?
I wish.
I look like a Yeti. That's from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Ooh.
From Mrs. Doubtfire. I look like a Yeti. So that's how I felt.
Oh my gosh.
But how ridiculous of a favor is, can I borrow some hair gel? Which basically means, can I have some hair gel? Uh-huh. Because what am I going to do? Put in a little baggie? Like, let me get a little.
Maybe give you a swipe in the car. Gel? Here you go.
Yeah, let me get a little bit of hair gel to take the road.
So we went to Target. Dinner was great. You have the speaking of Guinness World Records earlier, with the grain of salt I talked about. You had the largest portion of sour cream I have ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on the
charge $2.50 for sour cream.
So, all right. Here's the thing. So I love Mexican food. I was born in New Mexico, so I'm all in. I can eat Mexican food all the time. But when I'm eating, so I had to order a taco because Luke was getting the tacos. I wanted some other thing, but they wouldn't make it for me.
Flauta.
I wanted a flauta, but I wanted ground beef. I don't want chicken flautas. I want ground beef flautas. And so they wouldn't let me have it. But I was like, all right, fine, I'll get tacos. And I was like, oh, does it come with some sour cream? I like a little sour cream on it. Now, normally I'm at home with a pregnant wife and we have Greek yogurt. We're eating healthy. It's Greek yogurt. Well, Greek yogurt's fine. It works, but it's not sour cream. So I'm out. I'm out on the town. I'm out on the town. Yeah, let me get a little sour cream. And so, I asked, hey, does it come with sour cream? No, but I can give you some on the side. All right, fine. I'll get some sour cream on the side. He comes out with the largest bowl of sour cream. I mean, I could have had just a meal of sour cream.
It was a bowl of ice cream.
It was like a bowl of, with some little, it even had a little seasoning on top, like a little red chili powder on top of the sour cream.
There's only 2 options here because one, I've never seen that much sour cream ever served at this restaurant.
All from the store.
So the only 2 options here are he misheard you, which that's a stretch. He would have had to mishear you and add words to the sentence.
Yeah.
The only other option is you look like a guy that needs a ton of sour cream, and that's what he thought. Oh, this guy. He says a little, but this guy, I know he needs a ton.
just some sour cream for 2 little tacos.
You had enough for the entire table. Maybe for the table behind us.
I did eat a lot of it, though. But here's a critical thing, though. So I'm all for the side of sour cream. And even if you have to charge maybe 50 cents, right? 50 cents. All right, fine. It's not part of the normal meal. $2.50 for an outrageous amount of sour cream, which I could never finish. I could never drink all that or eat all that sour cream. I had to drink it, basically. It was like a bowl of ice cream. Yeah, I should have taken a straw to it. But to charge me $2.50 and to not tell me, yeah, I can bring you out some sour cream. It's going to come out in this monster bowl. It's going to be more sour cream than you could ever imagine eating. And I'm going to charge you $2.50 for it. Did he tell me that? No, he did not.
Nope.
So I am blindsided, not only by the size of the sour cream and the amount of sour cream and feeling obligated to eat it because I don't like to waste food, and then to have to pay $2.50 for sour cream. But just the outrage.
Oh,
so there you go.
But then we went to Target, got some hair gel. You bought so much water, some nice water, and then Bryce goes, "Hey, let me check some of the baseball, basketball cards." And I had no idea. You're like, "Yeah, there's fights. Stores aren't selling them in stores or in their store. People are going crazy." I'm like, "What? I must have missed this." So we go. There's signs. We will not be selling cards in Target. Manager walks up. You guys looking for anything? Yeah, I'm looking for baseball cards. She goes, well, basketball cards. We don't sell them in store. The sign says it right here. The sign says it. Well, we know that. We know that. And then Brian, he started trolling her the rest of the conversation.
This was supposed to stay in Target. What happens in Target stays in Target. But no, the lady comes out and she makes it. She wants me to realize I didn't ask for any help. She comes out to help me, and she's like, you know how the salespeople are at different stores, where like they want to help you even though you don't need any help or you're not asking for it. And so I was just trying to see if there were any cards available. It would have been fun to buy a little pack of cards and open them up on my trip, to follow up the sour cream. And so I saw the sign. It said no cards. Okay, fine, great. They're not selling them. And then she comes out, oh, can I help you with anything? No, I was just looking at the cards. And then she goes, oh, well, yeah, there's a sign that says there's no cards. Oh, so the sign says there's no cards? So I kept going back to her. We were going to get some cards, but the sign says there's no cards. So, right, we're not going to get any cards. So is that what you're saying? There's no cards? Yeah, the sign that says there's no cards. Oh, okay, so no. So you're telling me that the sign, there's no cards available. So in this whole store, there's no cards. Oh, yeah, the sign says it, so I should have known. So I'm going back and forth with the lady. We're talking in circles. Luke's just laughing and giggling, and so that was our debacle at Target.
A great time, a great visit to Texas.
Quite the adventure. So I went home with no cards, but plenty of sour cream
and gel.
And so then guess what happened? So the next night, went out to dinner with someone who runs a pack. He's a loyal listener of this podcast, so hopefully he's listening now. His name is Chad. We had a wonderful dinner. Well, guess what predicament I was in? Guess where he wanted to go out to eat?
Ooh, Tex-Mex. Oh, yeah.
So I went back-to-back Tex-Mex dinners.
Where'd you
go to Texas, and I went to 2 different ones. Blue Lagoon or Blue something or other. Some blue. It was, yeah. So I had a chimichanga. So with no sour cream. I had plenty tied me over from the night before. So it was great seeing Chad. It was fun, but it was one of those situations where I think he even asked me like what I had the night before, and I just had to avoid because I didn't want him to feel like, oh, we already had Mexican yesterday, and I didn't want to tell you that I was having it the next night. So you
were just speaking in platitudes. A little of this, little of that.
Yeah, we had some, but thankfully the second night I was actually able to eat some of the queso because Luke ate all the queso the night before. So I was unable to have the queso. I plenty of sour cream, not enough queso because Luke ate it all. The next night with Chad, I went hard early to make sure that I had enough queso.
That's right. Yeah.
So there you go.
Hey, I wasn't letting you off easy. My favorite place. So queso is mine.
That's right. All right. So we went long today. So this should tie you over because next Monday is the 4th of July weekend. So we will not do a show next Monday. We'll celebrate 4th of July weekend, which is always fun. So Luke, great seeing you. Great meeting Madeline. She's awesome. You win. Way to go on that. And happy for you guys. and fun show today. Thanks to Henry. He had the run. We went a little late today. Excuse me. Thanks for everybody listening. Great response on the chat today. Good feedback. Appreciate that. Those of you listening to the podcast, would love to hear from you. You can email me, Bryce@unpackingit.com. Bryce@unpackingit.com. I'm wearing my Fantasy Football Fellowship shirt. It's fantasy season, so you'll be hearing a lot about that coming up. We'll be talking Fantasy Football Fellowship and the playbook. Hopefully you've ordered yours and you are preparing for the upcoming season. Use it in your league. Use it at your church. Get it going. fantasyfootballfellowship.org and check that out. All right, guys. I'm Bryce. I'm a sports fan who follows Jesus. I believe in the good news that he died on the cross for my sin. He was resurrected. And through faith, I've been saved by his grace. I hope that is true for you as well. And I hope you'll join me as we live life as sports fans who follow Jesus together. Have a great rest of your day. The Unpack This devotional about no more excuses will come out later today. We will talk to you in a couple of weeks right here on the Unpacking It Live podcast.